Well, hello everyone and welcome along to the Predator Cup of 2022 as we get ready to see our 24 national finalists battle it out to become the International Predator Cup champion of 2022. It's going to be a thrilling fight, I have absolutely no doubt. And before myself, Lewis McGlade and David Christie waffle on for hour after hour, we should really introduce the man himself, Romain Grosjean, who's going to be standing by to give you his own welcome.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good to see you. I'm glad to see that the Predator Cup has attached so many of you. I've been following all the national finals, and I must say I'm very, very excited for that international final and to watch the race and see who's going to win.
It's going to be a lot of fun throughout the entirety of the night, but it's not just myself and David, who will say some words in a few moments, don't worry. We do also have an entire studio in Paris that has been waiting by the wayside. Let's catch up with what's going on down there.
Hello everyone, welcome in Paris. I'm in the good company with a great sim racer, Dutch sim racer. Hello Martin.
Hello everyone.
Welcome in the Acer showroom in Paris. Hello, Andre, the rising kid from Germany. All good?
Hey guys, yeah, all good.
It's a pleasure to be there. So it's a race. So it means that at the end of the race, we need to give a couple of things to the winners and the podium setter. So Martin, what will be the prize for the winner?
The prize for the winner will be this amazing and pretty big trophy, I've got to say.
Wow, it's a nice one. But I'm sure Andre will be a bit more popular than you because he has something extra for the winner. So what is it, Andre?
Exactly. I've got a paycheck of 2,500 euros for the winner.
Wow, it's a great cash prize from Predator Gaming. It was over more than 50k prize money on the WoW competition, 25k of products, 25k of money, and then we have a little bit of extra as well, which is a ring, a Predator ring. So exactly like when you did Indy 500, the winner will be able to wear that really great ring. Last but not least, of course, the winner will be part of a sim racing team, a pro sim racing team, Romain Grosjean LAG. So welcome to the winner into the team. Martin, I'm sure when you were young, it would have been a dream to compete in a competition where you can be part of Romain Grosjean esports team.
Definitely, it was always it has always been a dream for me to be in a big team. And after a lot of hard work, it finally paid off after many years. So I was really happy to be able to be part of Romain Grosjean's esports team.
It's nice to have a couple of prize money as well, which is at the end the big motivation for sim racers to train all the time.
Definitely, prize money is one of the biggest motivations to keep on going, and it's very nice to put that in your back pocket.
And those guys need to be very motivated. So enough talk from Paris. No, it's time for the races, the 24 races, to race for the big prizes we just show you.
We'll be catching up with Paris quite a few times throughout the running of the evening. In fact, looking over a rig from Martin van Loosnord, he'll be showing us what it is for such a talented couple of drivers between himself and Andre Melchers. Always going to be great to pick up from that. But now we do actually get to speak to David Christie. Hello. This is going to be a fun night, isn't it?
Oh my god, I am so beyond excited. Firstly, it's amazing to actually be part of this, the Predator Cup 2022, the actual Romain Grosjean. This is a proper honour list. We've been obviously working away with the rest of the production team all the way through the day, getting this all set up and all ready, and the amount of work that's gone into today, really, really impressive event.
Yeah, it really is. And like I said, I mean, you've got all those prizes and such to win, which, of course, there are also raffles and such, which you can take a part of. We'll be discussing a little bit more as to how that's going to work once the race has begun. They're in qualifying at the moment, and we'll catch up with all of the on-track action in a few moments' time before we go into what will be an hour-long race. Just one race to battle it out. It is going to be nervy out there.
It really is, and at Silverstone as well, one of the ultimate GT3 tracks. It's so wide, it's plenty of long straights so those cars can get up to their proper max speeds. Stowe Corner, for example, going into the arena. Yeah, I think we're going to see a few tears and tantrums tonight, Lewis. It's going to be an epic race, and when we look at the list, and we were speaking about this off air as well. The names that we see in this list, I mean, some of the names that we see on the reserve list for tonight's race is absolutely unbelievable.
And yet there is still one country with two drivers that we're really looking at as being the favourites here. And it's no disrespect to everyone else, but me and David, we've commentated on quite a lot, more so, obviously together on ACC and stuff. There are two drivers that we know quite well in the form of Mateusz Tuszkiewicz and his teammate Jakub Charkot. The two of those are going to be very strong, considering the reserve driver from the Polish nationals was Dominik Blyer, who is incredibly fast. And they, Triton, are a team that are well known for participating on AC. They've won the Polish national championships on AC over the last couple of years. They're very, very strong here.
They absolutely are. We saw their name on the list and we're like, okay, that is a formidable entry. But Lewis, chat seems to think otherwise. They've given the commands for Anjan Amathan to have his name engraved on the trophy as well. So again, a lot of drivers that are maybe new to myself and you here in Assetto Corsa as well. That is another big thing for me as well, is the fact that back on this OG Assetto Corsa platform, the fact that this is still such a competitive field is absolutely fantastic.
Well, where there is money and prizes, sim races will go. That is just how it goes, especially with a prestigious competition like the Predator Cup here. It was run last year and stuff. It's a formidable battle to get through onto this, going through your nationals and then into the international final like what we have here. It's a long road that brings you to this one moment. And let's be honest, we know what sim racing's like. It's so easy for it to go sideways at the very first corner of the track.
Well, that's it. I mean, after all that road they've had to come through with all the hurdles, all of the different things to be able to do that, it's a fantastic thing to be able to do that.
Well, I think we'll get David back in just a moment, because as much as I do like the face that you were pulling there, I'm not so sure it was the correct one for now. David, we've got you back. It's all good. Just giving us a bit of a heartbreak here before we go into the race.
I was just checking to see if you'd missed me, Lewis. That's all.
Always. Well, I've always got my eyes on you. Don't worry. Especially with these great t-shirts, by the way, that you'll be able to try and get yourself one off. They are very comfortable. I will say that, and they make us look the part. That's the critical thing. We're here. We've got to represent the brand as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I was very clear to the production team. As soon as this came through the post list, they ain't getting us back. This is mine now. I went outside like 10 minutes ago at the shop just so I could wander about in it. It's like, yeah, I am proud.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you did look good. You were in a white shirt a bit earlier on, not quite a shirt and tie like what I've been known to wear on the odd broadcast here and there. But when the time comes to wear a shirt like this, you've just got to. And over a race they're gonna see later on. Obviously, it's going to be a 60-minute race. Going to be difficult to keep the tyres in for the entirety of the 60 minutes. Because realistically, qualifying is going to play its part. Track position is king in a race like this. It's quite difficult to overtake at Silverstone, albeit not impossible. And the thing is, sure, you can make the moves down into Stowe and stuff, but you want to be out by yourself. You want to be comfortable by yourself and make sure that you're not overstretching those tyres. And that's kind of one of the most important bits in a race like this.
It really, really is. There's so many different factors come into this. Things like tyre wear, strategy, having to think about who you're battling out there on track as well, Lewis. As we said, fractions of a second are going to be what determines where these guys and girls end up on the grid tonight. And that brings them way too close in terms of the race itself.
Well, who do you think is going to win at home? Let us know in any of the YouTube chats, whichever one you're in the Twitch chats, of course. Head on over to twitch.tv/Grosjean Romain. So do it backwards and then boom in there. That's where all of the raffles and such are going to be taking part. And let us know who you think is going to be victorious a bit later on this evening. There's so many good names. We did say that Anjan Amathan is obviously quite a favourite within the chat. We've already said our bit for Mateusz Tuszkiewicz and Jakub Charkot. There are drivers like Govan Keeney on the list, though, and Gar Valero, who are well known for participating high up in many levels of sim racing, be it here on AC, be it over on ACC, be it on R Factor 2, be it on iRacing. This is an incredibly competitive grid. It is going to be very, very difficult to win, and you've got to keep your nose clean for basically the entirety of this race.
Yeah, 100%. And you can tell there, I'm sort of multitasking, listening to you here. I'm going to look at all the qualifying results coming in. And again, quite a few comments on the chat about showing us the grid and stuff like that. And we're keeping you waiting because this is like proper top tier stuff. I mean, I'm just looking at the times coming in, and it's scary. It's looking like we've got 0.3 of a second separating about seven drivers right now. It's going to be wild when we do get into this race.
Yeah, don't panic. We've not missed any of the race, by the way, as much as you are bored at looking at us two. I was going to throw in a couple of words there, but I think it was really appropriate.
Rude.
Throw David under the bus like that. But no, obviously we're waiting to go into the race at the moment as they're just finishing up qualifying, and we will head into it in a few moments' time. We'll get to see them battle their way out for the international final, the international cup here in the Predator Cup. So don't panic. You're not going to miss any of the on-track action. We will get to see the entirety of the 60-minute race, see them battle it out for the 2,500 euros, the ring, obviously the team entry as well, which would be pretty handy to go and join a team like that. For a lot of drivers, they take part in their sim racing teams to do it for a bit of enjoyment and stuff. To join a team like R8G, who we both know is an incredibly strong team in sim racing, be it again on any platform. They're one of the teams that's very, very multi-disciplined. And in sim racing terms, we don't classify that as being, they can race touring cars and they can race GTs and stuff. What we mean by multi-disciplined is they're multi-platform. They can go across each of the different platforms and they are ready to go. Whilst we go to the start of the race, Romain Grosjean is standing by with the command.
I actually always dreamt of doing that, so I'm quite excited. Driver, start your engines.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Acer Predator Cup. This is the international final. The race is about to get underway here. We are all on the grid. It looks like we have got a field of Lamborghinis going racing for this one at any time, any moment now. They will get underway. We'll blast down towards the first corner here at Silverstone. This is a wonderfully challenging circuit. It always has been around here. Overtaking is very, very much possible, but it isn't the easiest. It isn't the easiest track. There's some fast, there's some dangerous bits. It is quite a long hold we have got going on here. So, yeah, I think it might have different colours on the cars depending on what region or country things are from, but I am not 100% sure. At some point, we will be ready to go. We will get the excitement. I'm having a feeling a Lamborghini is probably going to win. That is... That's the safe bet. That's the safe bet that I'm going to be going for here. I'm gonna be really out there, and we're gonna go for a Lamborghini victory. I think we're waiting for a couple more vehicles potentially to be getting on the grid. I mean, this is always the fun whenever it comes to online racing. Whenever it comes to this sort of stuff, connections can play funny buggers along the way. It is just the way that it goes. I'm just looking down the race. I mean, I did the commentary over the United Kingdom sort of national final. Amuthan was the victor from that one. It's actually a good race in. For that one, they qualified in third on the grid, which is it could be interesting to see. In fact, I think Churchhouse was also, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to think back. I think it was Amuthan in fourth. Well, he'd be third on the grid because he got the TV camera, of course, parked up there. But I'm pretty sure it's Amuthan and Churchhouse were the two from the British final. Of course, I'm hoping for an exciting race. That's the main goal for me. That's the main goal for me. That's the main hope for me, is that we are going to be having an exciting battle. It'll be nice to see the British cars do well. Thankfully they can't overheat. The plus point when it comes to a digital world is the cars, if they're sat on the grid for a while, they don't overheat. They don't have those sort of problems. So, it might overheat in my office, and I do apologise if you can hear whirring and it sounds like a plane tail. There's lots of fans going on my office. It is boiling today. We've got noisy fans. The cars might not be overheating. However, my computer's okay. It's just noisy. I think we've got most of the car. I think I can spot a couple of spots all the way out the back that we are just waiting for. It is a big grid of cars. As I said, Silverstone is a good track, undoubtedly, to go racing around. This is a big grid of cars. The race itself is an hour long. It's a 60-minute race. There is one mandatory pit stop. So strategy is going to play a part. If you are stuck in traffic, you might want to pit, get out in clean air. We're racing on Assetto Corsa. I don't know how the tyre wear is going to be on these cars. You're probably not going to be wanting to pit for tyres. I don't think it's a mandatory change of tyres in this, as far as I'm aware. You have to put in at least 1 litre of fuel, so I doubt anybody's going to be changing tyres just because of the amount of time it's going to take to change the tyres. I don't think the lap time you'd gain potentially from that is going to be worth the very, very long pit stop. So I suspect it'll be a quick splash and dash. But there is potential. If you're stuck in traffic, you are better off jumping in the pit and running clean air if you can. And there's all sorts of potential to play out in this one. I believe all the vehicles are being run the same. There is a mod pack, if you like, for this with all the vehicles. Here we go. We have got we've got somewhere. We have got the grid going on, which did not look anything like the grid that we were seeing on the. Actually, on the thing, maybe it's who knows. Who knows what's going on? We've got a British car up in 5th place. We've got drivers from all over the world competing in this one, which is really, really cool to see. We've got the Czechs have rounded out the 5th row of the grid. As it's going to probably be majority of this running with that Lamborghini. It was very, very fast in the national final the finals that I watched. It was looking very quick for the Lamborghinis. Here we go. We are getting the vehicles ready. The lights are on, and any second now we will be off and underway. The pole sitter, it is nice and cleanly off of that front row. There's a bit of a scramble down towards turn 1 for, by the looks of it, sort of 2nd and 3rd place. We're going to go side by side through all of that. It's neat enough though there's someone, about to say it's neat enough. Somebody was off in the background. Huge plumes of gravel were being kicked up by one of the cars through there. As we head through these next couple of corners, we're going to see a lot of busyness through here. We're currently following the car in 6th place as we work our way through these next couple of corners. They're going to try and sort themselves out. You can get a big slipstream all the way down these straights. This is going to be a good opportunity potentially. Valero, here we are, we kind of got the camera focused on, has not got too much company. We've got one going a long way around. Now, if you can, hanging out wide, you're on the inside for the next corner. It's a good dive up the inside. I think it's Prada there managed to get to the inside. We've got a little bit of paint swapping going on the exit. You've got a little bit of room around this circuit. There's a little bit of runoff in places. There's a little bit of concrete runoff you will get away with. Everyone's going to go back into single file. Who heads towards Maggots and Beckett's for the first time. It is quick. It is very, very quick through Maggots and Beckett's here. You can pass. It's sketchy. It's tough to go side by side through here. The leaders are line astern. Oh, and there's off into the gravel. I'm not sure who that is. We've got one car. That's why I said it's difficult. We've got a spinner in the mid-pack. Everybody avoids it. Not what we want. All of the smoke billowing off the car going sideways through Maggots and Beckett's there. There's not what you want to come around a corner to suddenly see. It's not at all what you want to see. But They all managed to avoid that. I'm not sure who took a trip across the grass in all of that one. I think it might have been Valero, actually, judging by position change, maybe. We've got another slide from a car up ahead. I don't quite know where it got spat out from all of that. It was a big moment for somebody. I think it did get spat out the top of the circuit. We're back looking at Prada here in the mid-pack. We've got a little bit of touring car lines in the background. No real harm done in all of that. I do believe that the boxes are showing position gains potentially from the start, although a couple of them are a little bit incorrect on this. I think it's perhaps incorrect grid positions from the setup, if you like. Meanwhile, I mean, up at the front, the gap is not massive. Govind has led from the off, and I mean, he's got some companies, just a little bit of a lockup, just a smidge of a lockup. That's not going to do too much. It's not going to be too much of a problem for the vehicle as long as you aren't making, as long as that's not happening consistently, you will get away with all of that. And they're actually starting to put a nice bit of a gap to the vehicle behind. The car in third place, they are starting to run away from all of that. Now, if you'd like to take part in the raffles that they have going on, you can do. There's a link in the description of this stream to the Twitch chat, to the Twitch channel that is also showing this event, and you can enter into the raffle via that. Sadly, we can't do it from my stream, but you can enter into the raffle that way if you so wish. We are still right here. We've got a nice low shot. We're going to be looking through all of the grass here. The lead two are continuing to pull away here up at the front. They're just starting to stretch out the lead a little bit. They're just starting to you make the most of running in clean air. Thank you to Amy for sorting out with the little link into the chat box as well. We've got some cars very close together here. We've got some cars nose to tail here. Is this over? It looks like we're over 6th and 7th place here. Possibly two of the closer cars on the track at the moment. We're going to have a look at turn one. Not really close enough. It's a small braking zone, turn one here. You have a little tap on the brakes and throw the car in. Pretty much, I mean, if you're in a more normal road car, it's a bigger deal. When you're driving in a vehicle like this, they have so much grip. You've got to be careful of the curves here. Curbs are massive. They will cause you all sorts of problems around the place. You can launch these cars. If you hit the curbs hard, you will see them go up onto two wheels. Unlikely. This lot know what they're doing. However, it is, as I say, is easy. All it takes is the littlest of mistakes. Again, I think we're going to see a lot of small lockups from the cars down here, getting themselves into trouble, potentially. Not necessarily into trouble, but yeah, while tyres are a little bit cold. It's an easy thing to do to lock up that inside wheel down there. In fact, this battle, sadly, has just expanded out a little bit. Everyone's kind of finding a rhythm. It's a long race. An hour is a long time to be driving up. Personally, I'm not the biggest. I say the biggest fan. I'm not the best sort of endurance driver going on, but you've got to have concentration for the entire thing, and little mistakes creep in perhaps later on. We've got a couple of cars. There's a couple of cars nose to tail. Running through Mags of Beckett's in the background. But yeah, the start of the race, everybody is just kind of, I guess, finding a rhythm at this point, trying to, get the most out of the vehicle, but you don't want to throw it away. We've already seen a couple of cars go off. We've seen a couple of spins. We've seen a couple of vehicles in trouble. And, it is, I say it is not the easiest. If you do go off at the start, you've always got time to recover, but it's going to be very difficult to be fighting all the way up towards the front. We saw a couple of cars off. We're back blasting through turn one here, and everything is neat and tidy. We're still looking at 7th place at the moment. It's all just a little bit. It's all just a little bit stretched out. It's all just a little bit. it's got the gaps going on. And this is what happens sometimes with racing. We've seen it time and time again. There seems to be some smoke coming off of this car. I don't know whether that was a little bit of wheel spin, maybe. Unusual place to be getting smoke coming off of the Lamborghini here. And again, every lap we've seen a car coming into that corner, we have seen them locking that inside wheel just a little bit, just enough to get some smoke coming off. If you're just joining in to the stream, welcome to the Predator Cup. This is the international final. We have been underway. About 7 minutes going on. Here we go. We have got some leaderboards with some split times. It looks like there's a fun fight going on 13th and 14th. They've been changed. They've just gone mad with their changing of positions. Sadly, I do not have control over the camera in this one. We are watching the feed that we got. There's a second gap between first and second. It's very, very consistent gap. Ninth back is where things start getting a little bit more interesting going on here. Ninth back, we start getting a little bit busier field of cars. I say often it is the mid pack where you start seeing the file, and again there's more locking up. From these cars into the braking zone. There are 3 cars that can be used for this event. Oh, and that's a wide moment for the car we're riding on board with. And now you're going to have trouble getting that back on. You're going to lose a lot of momentum, and you're going to lose the place as well. That's one of your best overtaking spots around this circuit. Power there just missed the braking point and might lose another one as well because all that momentum down towards turn 1. It's a quick first corner here, and sure enough, we'll be stuck on the outside. You'll be the inside for the next part. Sure enough, can hold it there, but then you're on the outside. There's 2 places lost from one little mistake, and sure enough he's going to drop back, although actually maybe not, can fight back. That's brave and will find a gap. There was a Lamborghini sized gap right there, and the car was fired back through it again. That was a good repart. I thought they were in trouble on that one. But you can see how easy when you're in you're in identical cars. In fact, now this whole group has closed up. They're going to go almost 3 wide down here. They touch, they spin, 2 of them around. In that one, 3 into 1 corner does not quite work. It's a big spin. The 2 cars are gone, and that's a horrible place to have to try and rejoin. That's a horrible place. That's incredibly unlucky. 3 into 1 just was not quite going to work there. I don't know. To be fair, I don't know if the car we were following by the car on the outside actually knew somebody was going to the inside as well of that one. They just everything concertina's up, and it's you cannot fit 3 Lamborghinis at that speed into that corner, and that is one of the better overtaking spots if you're gonna have a look. You got a long straight, a decent braking zone. I mean, this is your other, it's a great overtaking spot down here if you are close enough. However, it was a little ambitious. I don't think they realised quite that they were all going 3 wide down there. I think that might have been part of the issue, and just all concertinaed up. So we're back to the midfield battle going on here. I think it is Churchhouse in 12th that is trying to hold on here. Is about to come under threat. Oh, they thought about it. They tried to sell the dummy, weren't quite far enough alongside. They went one way, went to dive to the inside, couldn't quite get the car slowed down in time to really have a look there, but they're putting increasing pressure on that car in 12th place. Now, they're not going to be close enough necessarily to have a look at turn 1. You're better off just follow through turn 1, get a good exit, carry all the momentum you can through turn 2, maybe throw it to the inside at turn 3 if you are close enough, which is not quite the case through here. Again, don't do any rash maneuvers. We've already seen this is the very start of the race. We've still got 50 minutes and a lap to go here. So you don't want to be doing any crazy rash maneuvers at this point. It's easy to see the amount of time that could be lost. You spin, you're going to get dumped all the way down the field, and it's a long time to go. From there, we might have an attempt to the inside here. Reich is going to have a try here. Now, Churchhouse can run it out wide. If you hold it, you can keep the momentum up on the exit and possibly have a go to the inside around this next corner. It does not quite look like that is the case. Although they're bouncing off across the grass, they're still going to fight side by side, and we will go back to the main feed for the questions with Grosjean. So I'll be back in a second.
It is something, you know. I watched it from Europe for many years, and just thought it was easy, and it was just turning left, being full throttle all the time, and then you actually get to drive the track, and it's hard. I mean, it's 4 corners. They're all the same radius. They're all the same width. They're all the same banking. They're all the same tarmac, and they all feel different depending wind direction and the bumpiness, the track temperature. And I mean, it's fast. It's really fast. In qualifying, you're on the limit for 4 laps, and you know, when you have a good car like I did on Saturday on the first day of qualifying, I was like, yeah, that's easy. You know, that run was really nice and smooth. And then Sunday came, and we trimmed the car as hard as we could to try to have a shot at a good position on the grid. And I finished those 4 laps, and the first thing I told my engineer is like, I'm not going again. Whatever happened, I'm not going again, because that was absolutely on the limit. If you have time, go on YouTube. I put those laps on YouTube, and yeah, I had to lift. I'll have to lift the last 2 laps. That cost us some speed, but if I wouldn't do that, it wouldn't have finished laps. So quite exciting. And then the race, there's a lot of technicality. There's a lot of finesse. There's a lot of things you need to do right. You know, between your fuel saving and how you position your car, and how much of a run you get into someone, and how much the car is going to move. I mean, it's 500 miles. I only did 250 miles, but it's 500 miles. It's a super long race, and it's 5, 6, 7, 8 pit stops. So the car is going to change a lot during the race.
Well, we'll, I think, say goodbye to Aidan for a couple of moments. And again, big thanks to Aidan Millward for jumping in to ask a question.
So we have been, well, while that was going on, been seeing some intense battling, some paint swapping has been occurring between these two. It's been a quite hectic lap, actually. We're still going to be going side by side down towards the old turn 1. However, as exciting, I say exciting, I mean, fantastic battle. We will continue seeing that going on. Again, it is going to be off to the studio showing around some of the sim racing equipment they've got set up there.
To be able to run screens like this, you can pick a flat screen, but in my opinion you can better have a curved screen to start off with, because it gives you better immersion. You would need a set of pedals and also a steering wheel. If you you can mount this all on a table or something like that, but pedals like these are pretty powerful, and a wheel also. So in my opinion you would need an aluminium rig to be able to hold it all together.
So it's very impressive. It looks very pro. What about the screen? I mean, there is a single screen, triple screen. What is your preferences?
I'm using a triple screen at home, just because when you're racing side by side, you want to see right next to you what's happening. It's all close racing, so you don't want to push anyone off the track on purpose or whatsoever. So I felt like I was limited with a single screen, and with a triple screen I'm feeling a lot better and I'm more confident on track.
So at the moment you are in the pit lane of Silverstone, so please join the track. For sure we are not in the race, so
No.
won't be able to crash anyone of the race. People can just have a look how impressive it is. You know, it's not like just having a console and a controller. Is it physical? I mean, those pedals are just crazy, I think.
Yeah, they're strong pedals, and it's definitely physical, physically exhausting when you have to do like an hour race.
How many kilos do you put on the pedals?
You can put like 100 kilos, and some pedals go to 200 kilos. It's just like in real life.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you know, they are not gaming. It's just you are like, when you see you are like a pro driver with the seat. Looks like a GT car. And what about the steering wheel? Do you have a force feedback?
Yeah, there's force feedback in it. Back in the days, we all started off with a controller, and the force feedback on a steering wheel will give you the precise feedback you need, whether a car is having oversteer or understeer. You will feel everything in your steering wheel because of the force feedback.
Okay, and you just have the gearbox with the paddle, like in real life as well. Many of the racing car right now.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's crazy. Martin is an absolute mega sim racer. You finished runner-up last year of the Dallara Year 01. So how many hours did you put in front of the screen?
Oh, that's I cannot even I don't even know how many hours I put into sim racing to be able to compete at this level. Level in sim racing nowadays is so high. You would need to put like 40 hours a week to be able to be competitive with the top of the world. So yeah, definitely. I was runner-up. I definitely wanted to win. I think I was capable of winning the championship, but maybe luck next year.
Yeah. Some people can wonder if some of the sim racers are a moving rig, and I don't think you have.
No. In my opinion, a moving rig, they have the slightest delay in it, and the last thing you want, in my opinion, is delay. You want everything. You want high refresh rates. You want you want your screen to be fast. You want your equipment to be good, to get every last tenth out of your lap.
Yeah, it's great. It's quite small at the end of the day. It's not taking a lot of space. Or where is it in your home?
I've got like 2 bedrooms, so I've got 1 bedroom all for sim racing, with a nice checkered flag and everything on the ground. So yeah, pretty good. Yeah. But it also would fit in your living room if that's if the wife allows it.
It's very, very impressive. I hope you guys enjoy what Martin is doing. You know, that's exactly what sim racing is. It's a real. They are athletes, I have to say, at the end of the day. You are not just only gamers. You are a driver.
Thank you.
And a great driver. So Martin is driving this Silverstone Predator track, going into Cops, which is a famous corner for Formula One. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Has a couple of memories there.
It's flat out in F1.
Yeah. Do you enjoy Assetto Corsa?
Yes, I like it.
What's the difference between Assetto and most of the other platforms?
I think Assetto is really good in the giving the force feedback. So it's telling me pretty good and really accurate what the car is doing. If it has snap oversteer, I'm able to catch the slide really quick. And I think just on the tires, Assetto Corsa is working out really good, especially with the new Assetto Corsa. When you have the rain and everything, they really pulled off a good show with that game on realism.
It's crazy. I'm sure a lot of people are jealous. So if you want to be a sim racer, if you want to start in sim racing, here is what you need. But we will go back a little bit later in Paris just to explain, to give you a couple of advice how to start your sim racing career, and why not one day be part of RAG. So now I think it's time.
Welcome back to the race here. We've got 40 minutes remaining in this. The biggest change, while we've been looking at some lovely sim racing equipment, potential for a battle on the podium. Amuthan has been closing in to the third place car. We've got it down to within half a second going on here. This is the closest battle. There's a little bit of a battle going on for ninth, as we see again another little bit of a lock-up going on from these Lamborghinis. A fairly common thing, a little bit of a wiggle actually from this car that we're sort of focusing on. Actually, the pit window. So the pit window only opens with 10 minutes to go. So we're not going to have crazy, ridiculous spread strategies going on in this. So they're all going to be sat out here. I mean, they're all running incredibly fast laps around this track here. They're all, low. The cars towards the front are running in the low 2 minutes. Even 159s are definitely possible here. Up at the front, I mean, the gap's not really changed all that much. They've led from the off, and it's remained around the 1.5 to 2 second mark, and it's just not really gone anywhere. It is very, very impressive, to be fair, to be able to run like this, to be able to run just so consistently the whole time. Between both the cars, because no one's gaining, no one's losing. And this is the other incredibly close battle on track. Olsen versus Valero. They've also been within a few tenths of each other. It's not quite within, like the 0.6 of a second mark is I'm really close. I want to be trying to pass the car ahead, but not realistically close enough to have a dive into a corner somewhere. It's the frustrating zone that you found yourself in there. You're really, you are so close, it's almost tempting. You almost might be able to get a pass done, but yeah, you're just not quite there. I mean, there's quite a few vehicles that are sort of... There's a couple of big gaps going on in the field, and there's quite a few vehicles that are sort of just a second and a half difference between them. So we're not likely to see any... You're not likely to see any big passes on the way through Magus and Beckers. We already saw a little bit of trouble there early on in this race. I suspect everyone... I mean, it was towards the front that we had a big spin. I suspect everyone is going to be a little bit wise to that one. Your next best bet is going to be when we come running down this long straight. We will hand back to another question for Grosjean.
Thank you very much for answering my question. So, is there something that you would consider a very special memory for Silverstone? Something very remarkable?
Hey, hi, Dave. That's a good question. I like it. Yes, I've got a lot of memories in Silverstone. That's where I actually drove a Formula One car for the first time ever. It was back in 2008. It was in a Stowe circuit. So within the circuit, there's a small circuit in between the paddock and Maggotts, Beckett's and turn 1 and 2, the new ones. So I did a couple of laps there. And then I must say that in 2012, had to change the front wing after the start of the race, and came back through the field. So I was 20th and went back all the way up to 6th or 5th, I can't remember, and overtook Jenson Button into Maggotts and Chapel. I overtook Lewis Hamilton into Copse. The car was just flying, and I was passing everyone into amazing places, and I thought that was super cool.
That both sounds great. What car was it in 2008?
It was the Renault, so it was a Renault Formula One. It was the 2007 car though, so we had to run with a year-old car for the demo at the World Series by Ronald Days that I was going to do a little bit later this year. And then in 2012 it was the Lotus, was it the E20, I believe, maybe? It was the Lotus, black and gold Lotus that we had in 2012 with next to Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And what do you think? Who is going to win? And are you maybe also cheering for the German drivers, maybe?
I mean, I'm really impressed by every driver that's been out there. I think Govan is doing a good job right now. He's just opened a 2-second lead, but Tiskzi in third place is coming back nicely. I was last year. I remember I was racing for the final. Myself and Romain, Gael Valerio was up there. So some of the guys were already here, which I'm happy to see that they came back. That means that they really enjoyed the event a year ago, and it's good to see that they're coming back. But no, the pit sequence is open, and that's gonna change a lot of things.
Oh yes. Yeah, I also enjoyed very much. I was also here last year, so thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.
Well, cheers to Dave again.
So we rejoin the action and some pit stops potentially taking place. Although, no, we're off back. We're going to go back to the studio. I was not aware of that. I do apologise. Well, never mind. Ignore me. I was here briefly, and now.
A little bit of advice. How everything started for you?
Everything started for me back in the days. I think it was 2014. I started with racing Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. And I did that with a controller. After that, I went to different platforms to compete at higher levels. And yeah, during the time, I improved my equipment.
Same for you, Andre. Very quick sim racer, quite young, not the same generation. Sorry about that. How everything started from your side?
Yeah, I'm doing sim racing for 4 years now. I started it 2018 with a Assetto Corsa. On a really cheap setup, to be honest. I don't know, I spent like 200 euros or so for it, and was driving on my desk in my bedroom on a rolling chair.
Which rolling chair?
Yeah.
So you put 100 kilo on the rolling chair.
Yeah,
so you finish in the cellar, or?
No, not 100 kilo, it was a bit less. Yeah, but it was quite difficult with the rolling chair, and also on a single screen back in the times, and improved the setup then with more professionalism and stuff, yeah.
It's crazy. What was the key moment? Where do you think you started to believe I can be a pro driver and earn some money?
when I did some, when I started to do really good lap times, and when I met some people, who were great in setup work and everything, I felt like I could be, I could be better than what I was, and I got in touch with RAG, and luckily Romain let me in.
Same for you. Is there any key moment where you say, okay, it's not just a hobby, but I can do my career?
Yeah, the key moment was when I switched to iRacing. It got more professional, also with some more investment into the setup. And yeah, that was my personal key moment. And yeah, came to RG then at the beginning of the year as well. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. There is a couple of raffles live from Paris. So sorry, I hope it's the good price. Yeah, it's the T-shirt. No, it's the cap. Sorry, it's my fault. So here is the cap. So it's time to type Predator into the chat, and then we will have a couple of other words, like the car miniature from Le Mans. And we will be back in Le Mans this year for sure. A watch, nice watch, and to finish some racing gloves. So yeah, I think it's time to type Predator into the chat. Just a couple of last questions to the guys watching us. What is the last advice you have to give them? Where do you think they have to start, just to dream of being a pro?
Never think you're quick enough. There's always time to beat. There's always time to gain. Put all your effort into sim racing if you feel like you have the talent, and work very hard for it. You will get there.
Andre?
Exactly the same, yeah. You can never push enough. There's always something you can achieve, and yeah.
It's like everything in life. Believe in your dream. Look, those guys, now they are professional team racers for Romain Grosjean, and sometimes you're on the grid with Romain, Max Verstappen. It's a crazy life.
It's incredible, for sure.
So a lot of fun, yeah.
A lot of fun? Hope so. So a lot of fun with track as well. And let's go back to the racing track.
Welcome back to the action here out on circuit, and well, funnily enough, we are back to where we left it a little while ago, with the battle for third having not really changed. Every so often, a couple of tenths moves a couple of tenths up, and then drops a couple of tenths back, and not a huge amount has changed. Now, there has been some vehicles driving in and out of the pits, and it looks like one of the front-running cars might have either disconnected or had a crash. One of the vehicles is dropping down the leaderboard, or there could be an issue with the leaderboard. We've seen a couple of pit stops going on in all of this. Pirlo just set a really fast lap in 17th place. That was it was a 59, and they're running in 17th position. That is unbelievably quick. So that car may well be making its way up through the field. We saw Prada jumped in the pits, and there was a couple of other vehicles, I think, were taking pit stops. Now, I don't know if the pit open bid is correct or not. I don't think so many cars would be jumping into the pits if it's just from damage or something unnecessarily. So yeah, not quite sure what is. What might play out by the end of this. It was the battle for around 9th and 10th that were having the most fun going on for this. They've all spread out a little bit. A few pit stops. In fact, Amuthan has just dived in the pits from 4th place. So that is a first of the lead cars. That is a first of the lead cars that has dove for a pit stop. Potentially trying to get into some clean air. Looking at the leaderboard, they're going to probably drop out in around. They'll lose out to road. I don't know whether they'll drop back to 6th. The pit lane here at Silverstone is pretty short. So it is not a long pit stop. They only have to stop for fuel. They do not have to stop for tyres, and you're not going to want to be stopping for tyres. Amuthan has lost that 4th place. Where they're going to come out, I am not quite sure. Okay, they're going to lose more time. It's not Formula 1 pit crew for these cars. I didn't know how long the stop was. So they're dropping down the leaderboard. Churchhouse, we're riding on board, or watching here. Now we are riding on board with, in fact, is trying to chase down the car in 10th place. Within that half a second mark, and I think they have been closing in this one. What they're going to do is cross the lap across the line. It's a second quicker for Churchhouse as one of the cars are going to be coming out of the pits. It's a little bit of an interesting rejoin to the circuit from the pit lane, and Churchhouse is getting very, very close. We're going to take a dive to the inside. No, the car ahead has covered. Ellison has covered that inside line. The problem is you get slow on the exit if you start covering it again. They're going to cover, but you make yourself really, really tight on the exit. You're going to be really, really slow coming off of that corner, and now you're on to the next straight. Sit in the draft, get as much of a toe as you can down here. What side? They're not going to defend in time. Churchhouse pulls to the inside, is going to try and be late on the brakes, and will make that move stick, and indeed they do. Up into 9th place for Churchhouse in this one. Good pass, nice clean pass actually. We've seen some trouble down there. We've seen a few bumps. We saw a spin at one point. We saw a 3 wide, did not quite work out down there. We've seen a couple of other bumps. The people have got away with some spins, but that was a good pass. All the leaders are in. The top 3 have all dove into the pit lane. So it's going to be interesting to see where they come out in relation to a Muthen. That was the car that was in 4th. It's a couple seconds down the road from where we are here. There's going to be a pass into Maggotts and Beckett's behind this battle. That is brave if ever I saw it. Just waiting to see a car. Oh, they've all got neatly through there. They, in the end, didn't quite get the pass to. I was waiting to see a car sideways or across the grass in the background through there. In the end, they have all made it. In fact, Road has dove into the pits as well. So everybody is pitting now. We got to, well, about the halfway mark, and everyone is coming in. We're going to see a dive to the inside for Solak here, I think, and they have got the pass done. Again, nice pass, sensible pass to the inside. Oh, no, Churchhouse has binned it. All that hard work, and it is really easy to do there. Just ran wide, clipped the curb, clipped the grass perhaps, and just lost the back end. I mean, they're right by the pit lane, so they can dive in and do that. Oh, that's unlucky. That is unlucky. That's a big hit as well. That's probably there's a big hit on the inside wall. And there we go. They are down. And they're not out, but there is going to be a trip through the pit lane and they're going to lose a lot of time. By the looks of it, Muthen may have jumped up into 3rd place overall. I'm just having a look. I think they might have got 3rd overall from those pit stops. It looks like the top 2 remain. So Valero and Olsen are yet to pit. Neither of those have pitted, so they are, well, effectively, Govind, I believe, is the leader of the race. Muthen being the biggest gainer from all of this, as far as I can see. There we have got another raffle. If you do want to take part in the raffle, sadly we can't do it in this chat, but if you do want to join in for a chance to win the model car, there's a link to the Twitch channel, Grosjean's Twitch channel, in the description of this. Amy's been putting up in the chat as well. So if you want to take part, you can jump over to there quickly and enter into the raffle. We are back riding on board with Pride. Now, they've been involved with a lot of battles in this one. They've got okay, so we saw Pilo going very quickly. I think they were setting some unbelievably fast lap times, having pitted. So they're trying to recover from early trouble. I don't know. They might have been. I don't know if they were the car that spun at Maggotts and Beckett's or whether they got in trouble. Baba's actually recovered as well from a crash early on. They're up into 11th place. Olsen's dove into the pits. Now, where Olsen's going to come out in relation to this battle should be interesting. I think they were fighting amongst themselves. But we shall hand over to the studio and see what happens after those pit stops.
So we need monsters to face the competition. So hello, Ivano.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi,
Thank
everyone.
you very much. Predator Gaming is the main technical partner of RG. We wouldn't be able to win races without you. So can you just give us a little bit of insight on the monsters we need to do sim racing?
Sure, definitely. This is the basically Predator lineup, starting with desktop. This is the Orion 7000, this is our powerhouse. But then we also have a notebook, actually, because gaming and sim racing is not only desktop, but now can be notebook as well. Nowadays, this device can provide very, very powerful performances, and you can be able to play esports on notebook as well. To give you the idea, this is the Triton series, so thin and light notebook, while this is the Helios series, which is more a desktop replacement. And to put it in a context for the occasion, this will be similar to a LMP2 car, while this is going to be more like a Koenigsegg Jesko, for instance. And now, instead of going through all the details one by one, like the classic and boring car review, I will go more in detail to the features that are very helpful for the actual sim racing. So, starting from the CPU. The CPU is powered from Intel 12th generation. We go up to Intel Core i9. You know that CPU is vital to calculate the physics of the car and the track. So in order to get the realistic feeling, a powerful CPU is very, very important. Then we have GPU from NVIDIA. We go up to RTX 3090 on desktop and RTX 3080 Ti on the notebooks. GPUs are vital to reach a decent amount of FPS. You know that the higher the FPS you reach, the better you have the feeling of the speed, and you can really fine-tune the driving style based on what is happening in the track. Especially then, if Martin said before, you are having a 3-panel setup, the powerful GPU is really, really relevant. On top of that, there's one very important feature, which is actually cooling. So cooling, just like in a real race car, is very important, because the lower you can get with the temperature, the higher you can go with performances. So starting with the desktop, you can actually see the cooling, which is done by 3 big fans, but you have also liquid cooling inside in this case. While instead of the notebook, we have Aeroblade 5th generation. We have also liquid cooling, liquid metal on the CPU and GPU, and this helps to keep lower the temperature and high with the performances. This basically means that you will be able to have very long session in order to improve your driving style and nail that specific corner that you need to improve the lap time at the end of the training session.
Romain is racing with, and believe me, when we enter Le Mans Virtual, we need to have those kind of monsters in terms of cooling as well. And with those tools, it's really nice to do a lot of content for the team. For the skin, for example, skins are very important in sim racing. Yeah. So we are pretty well equipped. Thanks a lot. But like in Formula 1, it's a bit of technical war, so we need to keep update and keep pushing. Definitely. So we push together.
Definitely.
Thank you. Let's go back on track. What is happening, Lewis?
Yes, indeed. Well,
we are back with the racing. It's been a hell of a battle going on here over 9th place. Prada just had a dive at the end of the hangar straight there as we're riding on board with Pilo's going to go around the outside of the first part of this final little sequence, and sure enough is on the inside for the final 2 corners, if you like. Good pass, good opportunistic pass there for the car. The camera is currently riding on board with a little bit unlucky for Alassane. Just got caught out of position, and when you're in identical cars, when you're in a group like this, if you get caught out of position, it is really easy to just have a whole stream of them come past, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Olsen ended up coming out of the pits in a 6th place. Now there's a big gap between 5th and 6th place. The car we are riding on, or I say we're looking at here, Solak is right there. Not quite close enough to have a dive, although Olsen's a little bit wide through there, and that's what you want when you're the chasing car. You want to see the car ahead make a little mistake. We're not talking big mistakes, we're talking just miss the apex, just by just a tiny margin, and you're going to be closing in. You can sit in the slipstream, you can sit in the draft all the way down here. Unlikely to be able to do much in these cars through this corner. Not a normal overtaking spot through there, and have to follow through Maggis and Beckett. Valero is continuing to lead the way. Now, they are yet to pit. Just about everyone else in the field, certainly all of the front runners, have gone into the pits. Are we pitting this time around? Nope, we are not. I mean, there's no real, outside of For Honor, I guess, there's no crazy. I don't think we can get safety cars or anything like that. So you might want to stay out for a chance to lead the race. And you never know what chaos might go on when Valero does pit. They will probably drop out into around that around that sort of 6th to 10th place spot. The lap times from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th are incredible. It's just 59. It is so unbelievably consistent between all of them. They're running in the 59s, they're running sort of that mid to high 59s, and they're just all doing lap times. I mean, Valeria's probably going to want to dive in the pits soon. The thing that you don't want to do, I mean, the plus point of staying out is they're not in traffic. So they're not battling other cars, they're not stuck fighting other cars. So they're running around in clean air, they're running around on their own and able to do the fastest lap that they can. What you don't want to do is stay out too long and have those very, very quick approaching cars start slowing you down. I would be surprised if we didn't see them dive into the pits this time around. They might stick it out one more lap, depending on how quickly the cars behind are starting to catch, because ultimately the race is not quite with them at the moment. It is not quite with them. We're back with Solak. Solak's much, much closer here. The car ahead also is going to go defensive. Now, we've seen the defensive hasn't always worked down here, so it's going to look the long way around. Now, if you can hold it there, you're on the inside for the next long corner, but it's tough to keep it all the way around the outside. They do just about. There's a gap. There's a Lamborghini-sized gap, but you're going to be so tight on the way through the kind of apex on that onto the exit. You just can't quite get the power down. And the more they fight, Road is going to come join this battle. You lose a lot of time fighting like this. There is no doubt about it. Not quite defensive down into the old turn 1 now. Maggis and Beckett's, it's very brave. We've seen a few people trying to go side by side through Maggis and Beckett's, and it hasn't been the most successful of overtaking spots. They're going to go nose to tail through here. Oh, there's a little bit of a bump. So I got the car very unsettled, and this all helping Road catch up. Now, if you get a good run on the exit here, get the slipstream all the way down, we may well see another 3-wide situation at the end of the hangar straight here, because I think Road is closer to moving up into 7th place. Are we going to see a dive? Road's having a look. It's a big look to the inside, not quite close enough. It would be very, very late on the brakes to make that one work, but it might be enough to put the car ahead off a little bit. We're riding on board with Road, who's having a look around, tries to sell the dummy. It gets the nose almost to the inside, can't quite do it. Although, so that gave space, actually, is a little wide on the exit of that corner, and is going to end up leaving the door open as they head around the final turn. We've seen cars in trouble out wide there, so it's going to have to lift in the end and fall back into line. And that was all. It was all from Road having a little. It was a sneaky look. It was kind of just showed the nose, just put the nose there enough to sort of almost semi-scare the car ahead, and it worked. It did work on that one. It didn't look like the pass was on, but it was well done to get the car underneath. They've got to watch out for Pilo, who is going to be catching back up the front. Valero has not gone to the pits yet and is now starting to battle with what would be the effective race leader. Oh, they're on the outside, and that's why you don't want to do this. All of this is slowing down what will become the effective race leader, who doesn't want this fight. Nobody really wants this fight. Valero is being brave around the outside of Maggis and Beckett, and oh, that's so close. That's so close. It's well held. It is really, really well held in all of this, but what it has done is it's closing. Sorry, I do apologise. Govan actually got the pass completed. I was watching the wrong car. Govan got the pass completed. That was brave, and it needed to be done. You can't afford to be stuck, because you've seen how much the car in third has caught up here. Charcot has really, really caught this group. Is Valero going to go into the pits? Nope. He's going to defend. It's going to be a late braking manoeuvre now. Sit around the outside here. You're on the inside for the next couple of corners. If you can keep up the momentum through here, it's a tight line, and we've seen it be problematic. Can't quite get to the inside. And now all of that gap that they had closed up as the front 2-4 is now starting to go away from them. Yeah, you really want to find a way past here as quick as possible. It might be a dive around this next corner. Not quite close enough. It's going to try and set it up on the exit. And it is, again, it's just time ebbing away. The leader is now some 2 seconds down the road. All of that hard work is not quite... I say it's all coming a little bit undone. There is currently a raffle going on. If you would like to take part, there's a link to the Twitch channel. If you want to enter the raffle, in the description of this video, Amy's been putting up periodically in the chat here as well. Thank you very much to Amy for doing that. yeah, for a chance to win. A rather cool watch. We're still riding on board with this battle. This is not actually really helping Valero here. You're losing time to where your battle will end up being. It's trying to get underneath. There's not quite space there. We're going to have a look around the outside at the old turn 1. Road is up into 6th as well. We saw that battle going on. It's not quite going to make it work around the outside there, although it's a good cutback on the exit. I tried. I thought they were going to be able to get alongside, right? We're in to Maggots and Beckett's once more. The leader is going to come through. They've got a 3-second gap, and that is really, really hurting. And in fact, you can see Amuthan's caught to within 1.5 seconds. The longer they're stuck there, the worse it gets. So we're likely to see, you have to get somewhere. There's a little bit of trying to break the toe down the straight. Can't weave too many times down here. The car we're riding on board with, Charcot is going to have a look around the outside. Is it going to work this time? Keep it on the tarmac. We saw Churchhouse have a big crash when ran wide over the curbs here. It looks like it's a great pass. That is a fantastic pass around the outside, and then you can park it on the inside. Just make sure you get it stopped, and they do. It is well parked through this final sequence of corners. That's a wonderful overtake. They lost nearly 2 seconds at least in all of that. It's a big chunk of time to lose to the leader, maybe even a little bit more actually, because it was about 1.5 seconds away when they came into the pits. It's all gone. Unfortunately, it's all been a little bit unlucky in that. I mean, that is sometimes how the pit strategy works out. And while this goes on, we will hand back for another sort of chat with Grosjean.
There's a lot of people out there, young people, that drives a lot on the simulator, and I assume some of them would like to see if they can use it in the real world. So the question is, how would you compare real racing with sim racing? Would you say that a sim racer can potentially transfer his skills on the PC to the real world, like we've seen with drifting?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I believe that some of the guys on sim racing, not all of them, but some of them, and we watch in the team within RG, we look at every telemetry, and from the telemetry I can tell you who may be able to be good in real life versus not. Sim racing has gone a long way, and it's very impressive now what we can get on the platform. We all have our preferences. Is it that cycle Corsa? Is it that racing? Is it that Factor 2? I personally really enjoy our Factor 2 a lot. I think it's just the one that represents maybe the car the best way on certain modes. But the telemetry, the way you brake, the way you have to release the brake, you go in a corner, it's getting there. Obviously, it is a bit different than real life. If not, you would see all the real drivers winning everything on simulator, and that's not the case. Like I can't catch up with my guys in the team. They're much faster than I am, and I'm pretty successful in real life. So there's still some differences, but definitely we've got some guys that are sim racers and going in Formula 4 and doing a really good job. So that's something that I'm trying to do. That's something that I'm definitely trying to push hard, is to find next talent through sim racing, because it is much cheaper than karting. It teaches you good driving, good technique, and I think that there's a room for guys to jump into real life from sim racing.
That's interesting. So there's hope for me.
Thank you.
Years old. Thank you for the opportunity.
Lovely to hear more interviews towards Romain. We do have a couple more.
So we head back to the race. It has been all very busy. In the mid-pack. This is the closest battle on track. Pilo's been catching this group, although he's had a little bit of an iffy lap. I think they may have run wide, may have made a little mistake somewhere along the line, because I don't think it's going to be long before Olsen comes under threat here. Olsen's just been slipping back a little bit. Decent strategy, actually, from Olsen, but is just struggling a little bit for pace now. They lost out to Road, they now lost out to Solak as well, and we will see. Valero dove into the pits, I believe, and has come out of all of this actually quite well. Has come out of all of this still in 5th place. So that's worked out better than I thought it was going to for them. I think they went through the pits anyway. They certainly dropped back. And either that or they made a mistake. We sadly didn't quite see it on camera. I would have thought they would have lost more time had they done. But There we go. Yeah, this is the main battle on track. There's still 4-second gap between first and second. There's only a couple of sort of 2-3 seconds separating second to third and third to fourth. So there's still potential. Big gap back to fifth, and then we start getting a little bit more spread out until we find this 8th, 9th, 10th place battle here. Pilo's are going to take a lap to kind of recuperate and recover and try and get back onto the tail end of this, well, the car that our camera was for. Actually, I've just swapped to Pilo. So where are you going to be setting up this pass? Get a good exit. In fact, Pilo's got a fantastic run through Magus and Beckett. Also might be in trouble here as we head down the hangar straight to look at the lap times. 2 minutes. They're so close up at the front once again. Is Pilo going to be able to have a look? Is it going to be close enough to have a dive? Not quite this time around. If you get a good exit here, you've got a good spot coming up immediately after this corner, and Olsen knows it. Olsen moves that car across to defend the inside. Not quite, actually. It looked like they did initially. Maybe they changed their mind. You don't want to go too crazy defensive, of course, because then you do really start slowing yourself down. Now, we have another raffle for the racing gloves. If you want to enter a chance to win those, you can. In Grosjean's Twitch chat, sorry. I'll be linked to that in the description of this stream, and it has been appearing in chat periodically. Thanks to Amy for those. We're still watching this fantastic battle. Peter's going to have a look to the outside. Now, if you can hold it here, it's a long way around at turn 3. If you can hold it, though, you're at the inside for the next corner. Pilo tries. There's a little bit of a Lamborghini-sized gap. You're on a very, very tight line. You struggle to get the momentum on the exit, and they can't quite do it. It's still there, though. And it makes it awkward for Olsen now. It's really tough to move that car across. There is a little bit of an overlap. Olsen's going to get it to the inside. We've seen a few good passes around the outside at the end of the Wellington Straight. It certainly can be done, and Peter's going to give it a try because you're at the inside through our next corner, and I think that is going to be another wonderful pass. Very, very well executed overtake to make that move work. Pilo can go chasing off after the car in 7th place, although you've got to be careful you don't leave the door open. Olsen, who's riding on board, Olsen actually gets a really, really good run across the old start-finish line here. It's, brave looking around the outside. It's more about trying to slow down the car ahead, although it doesn't quite work. Pilo was on a tight line and will be a little slow on the exit. I think Olsen got a little bit of a slide, and, well, Prada's right in this group as well, so you can't go too aggressive when you've got another car right behind you. You know, if Olsen has a really big attempt at an overtake, really big move, it is very easy to lose a lot of time. It's easy to make yourself slow, and that opens the door for the car behind. So as we run down this straight, Olsen's actually a little bit further away from the car ahead. I don't know where the Prada's got. Prada's got a good run. Just looking at the times coming down, I don't think they're going to be quite close enough to have a big dive. Certainly, Olsen doesn't feel the need to defend through here. I mean, that's close. That is not a huge amount of a time difference between them, but you only want to be defending as a last resort. And sure enough, they're following neatly through these next couple of chicanes, keeping everything neat and tidy, not hitting the big mean curbs. As I said, those curbs, they can very easily launch cars up onto their side. I don't know whether you could launch a car off of one of them. You can certainly get into trouble if you hit the big sausage curbs. They will, ruin your lap time or ruin your day a little bit. Pilo has vanished off up the road here. Has made a sort of a second clear of this group. Prada got a nice run through that turn 3. Is right in the right in the slipstream, pretty much pushing the car ahead all the way through these next few corners. While that battle continues, we will go back to the questions with Grosjean.
Hello, there we are. So, thanks for having me. This is pretty cool. So, you still have your F1 Mercedes test coming up. Do you want to drive like the newest car with the porpoising, or would you prefer like a champion winning car, steady and smooth?
Hey Maxim, I mean, it's a good choice to have, isn't it? This was the decision to be made. I think the rule is that if you do a test like I would do, which is a day of testing out of competition, it has to be a 2-year-old car. So right now I will be looking at a 2020 Mercedes. I think that's the one with the DAS. So it could be pretty cool, and it's the fastest ever Formula 1 car. Because 2021, the rules have changed a little bit and the floor were cut, so they had a little bit less downforce. I've seen Toto in Miami GP, and he told me that the test was going to happen. I told him that it was 100% my fault that we haven't done it yet. I haven't been able to get dates to go back to Europe from USA. We're racing every other week, or every week we're racing in IndyCar, until September. I'll be in Montreal this weekend for the Canadian Grand Prix, so I'll see them again. But I know Mercedes has been really keen. I know they've kept their words. It's really my fault that the test hasn't happened. So I would take the 2020 over the 2022 because that porpoising or bouncing or whatever it's named doesn't look good at all.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to see you drive the 2020 car, and good luck with that and have fun. And yeah, you're super busy, so yeah, it will be, I don't know when it will happen, but for sure it will happen.
Yes, exactly.
Well, cheers to Maxime. We'll let him go. Of course.
So we're in to the closing stages of this race. Just 4 minutes plus a lap to go here. And at the front, things have all remained pretty calm after a little bit of frantic trying to overtake a car yet to visit the pit lane. The gaps have remained pretty similar. This battle over 8th, 9th and 10th has also, I say, calmed a smidge. Olsen's found some speed, having lost out, is now actually closing back in to the back of the 9th place car. Here we have up at the front. Govern has led pretty much from the off in this one, stayed out of trouble, and has built the gap. Certainly had to work for their way past Valero through the pit sequence. Made a very, very audacious pass going through Maggots and Beckett, and made the most of the opportunities to just build that gap out to 4 seconds. And Charcot has not been able to really do much about that gap. Pino's been one of the most exciting of the drivers, working their way back through the field. I think they had trouble early on and got dropped through the order because they've been making all sorts of overtakes on their way up, and it looks like there might be a chance for 7th place. Unfortunately, after 7th, there's a big gap to 6th. However, it does look like 7th might be on the cards here, but yeah, not a huge amount of time to go here. We've got a couple more laps. Probably get 3 more laps around this circuit. That is, I mean, there's a few places, certainly a few places you're going to be able to set up for a pass, but you're not going to get too many attempts at them. You're going to have to get it right as we run through these first couple of corners. Turn 3, we're still going to be a little bit too far back. So it's all about, at the moment, it's just all about, I say, making as much lap speed as you can, get as close to the vehicle as possible, move around perhaps a little bit in the mirrors, make the car ahead defend. I say if you can. When you're sort of half a second back, it's not likely. You don't want to defend thin air. Defending thin air, you're going to be going a little bit slower. But if you can just cause them to make any sort of little error through all of this, and it did look like Solak was a little wide. Okay, they take slightly different lines on the turn in through there. There are a few different lines through that corner. You can still carry some good speed, and of course you're not going to find a way past really through this next section. Again, it's all about just trying to get as close as possible. You want a big slipstream down the hangar straight. That's your best bet, and Pilo is closing in. It's a few tenths of a second, but it's definitely closing in. So neat and tidy through the old turn 1. Both running out a little bit wide. We've seen that the curbs are mean around this track. We've seen that the curbs can be mean to these cars. That if you put a wheel on the grass, you can get in trouble. People bouncing it. Everybody is using as much of the circuit as they possibly can without getting themselves into trouble. And it's possibly going to have a good run down there. We have not got too long to go in this race. Is Pilar going to be close enough to have a bit of a dive? I am not sure they are going to be this time around. So that's another sort of allow. God, now I think the leader will have crossed the line. So we will have 2 more laps to go in this one as they head around through this final sequence of corners. Solak was a little bit, they started to have to go a little bit defensive. We're just starting to have to be aware that there is a car right behind them. And as soon as you start going defensive, you start losing lap time. Yeah, Pilo, 0.3 of a second faster that lap. He's closing and closing through here. Are we going to be close enough for a look into turn 3? It's been a favourite overtaking spot for a lot of cars. No, not quite. And Solak doesn't feel the need to defend, although it's a little slow mid-corner. There is, well, the Lamborghinis are very, very much nose to tail through here. It's going to get a good run. Not able to get underneath. It's just going to get a good run. Settle for sitting in the slipstream. down this next straight. Is Pilo close enough to have a dive? I wouldn't have thought so. Not from there. Yeah, they take a slightly different line. Pilo takes quite a tight line on the way in through there compared to some of the other cars that I've seen. It's working, and they're making lap speed in all of this. But not quite close enough to overtake. Again, the car's smoking quite a lot, actually, on some of these corner exits. We've seen it from quite a lot of vehicles. Like, Olsen's really caught up to 10th. Oh, Solak may have had a little bit of a wobble. I don't know whether that was a wobble off of a curb. It's a weird place to suddenly end up all the way to the inside, whether they're just trying to prevent any chance at an overtake. But when you move around like that, you just lose that little bit of momentum. You don't really want to be doing it. The leaders are going to be heading on to their final lap of the race now, as we're following through Magnus and Beckett. That's a long way across the grass for Pilo. I think you're actually going to lose time probably going that far across all of that potentially. There we have the leader is heading around turn 1, and they are nice and calm, if you like, nice and calm on their own. Pilo's having a look, thinking about it. It's just not quite close enough. Yeah, there was moving. There was moving around again. It's trying to just distract the car ahead. You're hoping they lock a brake. You're hoping they miss the braking point by just a metre. That's all you need. Is Solak defending into here? Not really. Solak's just doing a good enough job. It's just staying far enough away that the car that we are following here is not really able to make the most of its speed. It might have seen the best of its tyres by this point. I think Pilo was in the pits early on in this. Might possibly have some tyre wear occurring through all of this. We're back through turn 1 and turn 2, up towards turn 3, and Pilo thinks about it, but it's not close enough. Still, it's the same as last lap. Solak's doing a really good job of not defending thin air. He's doing a wonderful job of making, because if they started defending, I think they'd be in trouble. They might have to for a couple of these corners, although they're further away this time around. It's half a second. I don't think Pilo's going to get close enough down this straight to have a dive. Certainly not here. Maybe later on in the lap, but they are not close enough at the moment. We head back to the front. Charcoal has closed in, but it's only by half a second. The gaps have remained incredibly close. Amuthan did a good job to jump in the pit stops up into third, as perhaps lost a little bit of ground to the cars ahead. Fourth place is not going to be close enough, though, to be doing anything here. Kini Govend is going to round the final couple of corners and is going to claim victory here in the Acer Predator Cup. But a wonderful drive. As I said, they led for the majority of this one. Charcoal across the line in second. However, they did have to work hard to make their way through the pack. They didn't want to get caught up in some of the alternative strategies that were going on. Amuthan will cross the line in third place. Good pit strategy to jump up there. We go back to Pilo here, who is not close enough, I don't think. Unless there is a mistake from the car ahead, I don't think we are going to be seeing any overtakes into the final corner. Pilo threw everything, absolutely threw everything at Solak through there, but is not going to be able to do it. Wonderful defensive drive, actually, from Solak at that, to have stayed, I say, out of range, to know when to defend and when not to defend. Olsen will be close to Prado around as well in the background in all of this. Did a good job of, recovering a little bit after a sort of slipping down the order, has kind of regrouped and recovered, and will cross the line in 10th for Olsen. It has been a very, very enjoyable race. We've got a little bit of time for the rest of the cars to cross the line. We saw Churchhouse smack the wall hard. Churchhouse had a big crash while we were watching. They were in a good battle for a while, but yeah, big hit on the wall as they went into the pit lane. There have been some wonderful on-track battles. There were a few big shunts along the way in this one, but it has been a very enjoyable race to watch. At the front, it was a little bit almost status quo from the off. It was more the mid-pack battles. Valera did a great strategy, actually, in fifth. I was impressed with that. I didn't think that was going to work out in the end, but that did work. Oh, we've got somebody off on the final lap, going for a little bit of an explore. It's easily done. It is very easily done, actually, around this circuit. All it takes is you just put a wheel on the curbs. Really easy to spin the wheels up and get into trouble. But there we go. That is the end of the race. That will be the end for my commentary in this one. I hope you have enjoyed this racing. I have indeed. However, the stream will carry on. They will head back to the studio for their closing messages and that sort of thing. I hope you have enjoyed this stream, and we'll stick around for the ending of this one. I've had a lot of fun commentating over this race. It has been a wonderful battle. But yeah, back to the studio.
The Dutch who won the race.
Dutch winner, always good.
Yeah. So our is the cup for the winner. But we believe it would be nice to have an interview of the winner, or just to have a couple of inside of Romain talking to the winners, guys.
Yes, indeed. We will be speaking to Grosjean in a little bit. But what did you lads make of it in the studio there in Paris?
Yeah, I think it was quite a nice race, and we're happy to have a new team member. So I'm sure we will have a meeting tomorrow with Kitty Govan to just to know what will be the program for him.
Definitely.
In the next, so one more Dutch in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Sim racing is very popular in Netherlands, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. I think most importantly is as Max Verstappen started to race F1. The whole country started to buy sim racing rigs. So I think that's the most important trigger.
So the same that in France with Romain. In a couple of races, it's Romain Grosjean team against Max Verstappen, which is something great. So Germany, not at the top of the game. So you
not anymore. There was a time when Vettel won some races, but it's over already.
Yeah, sorry about that. And for France, it's a bit disappointed. But Gael was a great racer. Once again, a lot of people joined. More than 3K people doing the hot laps. Was very popular. So it was a nice place. It was a pleasure to spare this moment with you guys, to share this moment with you guys. And I hope Kitty Govan is pretty happy to join the team, and we'll have a couple of surprises as well. So I don't know if Romain is happy to welcome another Dutch into the team. Boss in Miami.
Well, we'll speak to Grosjean in a moment anyway. But I've got to say for you guys, that is a nice little trophy to hand off to Grosjean, and also a pretty cool shirt as well. I just don't think anyone could really stop him. As soon as he had that pole position, David, he was just well in control.
He really was, and never mind that, Lewis. I'm just more interested in trying to get my name on that €2,500 check that gets signed very, very shortly. Look, absolutely well deserved, and you know, as we said, we maybe didn't mention this often enough. The fact that now a member of RHG Esports as well is just a fantastic thing to win from this competition. My God, has he earned it? I mean, the pace that has been shown tonight, that is an absolutely inspired winner of this race tonight. So very well done. And again, all the work that's had to be done from all of these competitors, the various national hot lap competitions, the hot lap final, the national finals, and then through to tonight, the international final. Everyone can leave tonight with their head held high.
And yet we know what sim races are like. You know that if you've come along and you finished in 9th, in 14th, hey, even in 2nd, you're always going to be a little bit disappointed, because you know that every driver in this had the pace to really compete at the top. That's sim races. They're all very, very competitive.
How often have we done that, right? We've spoken to, at the top level, we've spoken to like a really, really prestigious competition, and we speak to somebody who's even in, say, like 2nd or 3rd place, and you speak to them, and it's like, oh yeah, it was all right, I guess. And they're absolutely dejected, like they've lost the thing. And it's like, you've come 2nd out of 35,000 people. How can you be unhappy with that? But that's just the high bar that sim racers have for themselves. We see the wonderful trophy that is going to be going his way, as well as the ring, the Predator ring, Lewis. So yeah, fantastic competition and lots of prizes on offer.
Yeah, you get a special ring when you win some really big competitions in the real life, and so might as well get one for winning something in sim racing as well. I mean, it's a pretty nice ring, very, very shiny. We are awaiting for Grosjean, who's making himself look a lot more pretty, to be interviewed by Romain Grosjean himself. So we'll have to just hang on for the Flying Dutchman. But for a driver who's shown a lot of pace, say on iRacing, I know that RHG are an iRacing team as well as racing elsewhere in sim racing. I wonder if something like this might make him consider doing a bit more in the sim racing world by taking part on other platforms as well?
Well, I think what we have to understand now, Lewis, is that essentially franchises and big esports sim racing groups like this, they teach the drivers the fundamental skills that can be carried over in terms of like pushing up for their setups and doing things like telemetry reading and understanding how they're performing, performance, management. That is going to be so key, and that is going to be a valuable asset that Govind is going to be able to take on through the rest of his young sim racing career.
Yeah, and obviously got plenty more years ahead of the sim racing career of Govind Keeney. Just kind of what can be achieved over the next few years. It's interesting how sim racers kind of go from strength to strength, then they might disappear off into the background and then come back forwards, because Govind Keeney was right at the front of sim racing 10 years ago, battling in some touring car competitions at the front, and then ended up dropping off a little bit, went over into iRacing. He took me out on a Skip Barber race a few years ago at Kota, which I'm still holding on to.
That's not holding my ground.
It's just classic. You know what sim racers are like? We've all got very long memories, but I know he probably has no idea, so it's fine. But I remember.
I remember beating Lando Norris once in an iRacing race.
Really?
I did, but that's only by default because he crashed out on that one. So
yeah, the same with Shane Vengelsberg, and he crashed out of a naval race. And I spoke to him quite a few years later about it, and he was like, "I have no memory of that." Hopefully, we'll be able to go to Govind Keeney to have a chat with one Mr. Romain Grosjean. Let's have a chat with a pair of them.
Hey Govind, congratulations first of all. How did you go? What did you feel? How was the race? And congrats on a good payday.
Yes, thank you, Romain. It was a very tough race. I mean, the tires, first of all, the rear left tires, they were like overheating a lot, so I had to be really careful on the first stint. Like you could see on the 16th lap, I almost lost the rear of the car many times. And Jakub, he did a really good job trying to follow me. I mean, I was on the limit all the time, and he could follow me and match me, and he could catch up to me in the end. But respect to Jakub. It was a good race.
Good. I like your attitude. And how does it feel to be first out of 3,000 person? I mean, it was more than 3,000.
More than 3. Well, I didn't know the numbers, but yeah, it feels really great. I mean, we work really hard with. I have a couple of friends in my Discord, and they help me a lot with the setup and the preparation and all of these things. So yeah, thanks to especially Ahmed and the guys, Lawrence and all these people who made the setup. Was really great.
Yeah, it was good to watch. I really liked the racing. I felt you did a good job with Valerio with a different strategy.
Yeah, that was very, very, very. Valerio. I turned in and I thought he would back out because he was on old tires, but he kept his foot in, and I had to go around the outside. I managed to keep it going, although I had some damage. I don't know if that affected the car, but in the end we managed to finish the race. So yeah.
French driver like Dutch driver, we don't lift off.
No.
You have to know that.
Yeah, I should have known. But
that's
right.
a good way of racing. So I mean, congrats. It's been a beautiful event to follow. Even when I was in Indianapolis 500, I would keep in touch with IG.
Oh really? Yeah.
Things like going and yes, you put on a hell of a show. I'm
glad you're here. I've been your fan for quite some time, actually.
Oh, that's good. So
when you were driving in Haas and stuff, you were really entertaining, to be honest.
Thank you. And I guess we're gonna learn to know each other a little bit better.
Yes.
A nice T-shirt coming in, a good trophy.
I already got the T-shirt.
Perfect. So yes, I mean it was a hell of a show. I think definitively Predator Race Cup 2022 has been a big step up from last year. We've done all the teams and everyone has done an incredible job, as well as all the drivers taking part. As you say, Jacob in P2 was pushing hard, and everyone has been very very good,
very respectful. Yeah.
Yes, it was very important for all of us, and we appreciate that. Again, congratulations.
Thank you, mate.
Enjoy your evening.
Yes.
Wish you the best, and we talk very soon about what we can do and what are the next steps.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
All right. Yes.
Well, congrats to Go Vanchini, and to, of course, a big thanks from Romain Grosjean. Let's head down to Paris to see what's going on.
Okay, so congratulations, Govan. This is your cup. This is your ring. And the final moment from your fellow Martin van Luzendorn. So this is the check out of your salary, Martin. So please sign, and once again, congratulations, Govan. Congratulations, guys. Thanks a lot.
Well, that was great to hear from them. That was, to be fair, if I was behind Van
Where's my fireworks?
that would have been the highest pressure bit. Could you imagine being there right and it being like, was it IE? Was it? What was it? Yeah, it's a lot of pressure there, but no, good effort there, and also a nice little payday there for Go Vanchini, and a nice invite as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's brilliant stuff. And do you know what? It absolutely melted my little heart just seeing how happy he was to chat to Romain. It's like proper little fanboy moment there. You know what? He's absolutely earned it. That's the thing. He's obviously been around the block several times here, Lewis, and great to see he's getting this opportunity here tonight.
Yeah, and he's had to work for it. That's the kind of the critical thing that we've backed on. It's not just been gifted to him. He had to really, really work for it. We're going to give our thanks, though, from myself, Lewis McGlade, and from David Christie alongside. We've had great fun this evening, but Romain Grosjean is standing by to say goodbye.
Almost sad to say goodbye, guys. We've been enjoying so much the Predator Race Cup 2022. Again, thanks for everyone to taking part, joining, racing, doing laps. Congrats to Govandini for being the winner. Congrats to everyone that competed. I was very happy and very proud to follow everything. We did manage the fire pretty well on stage, and that looked good. So. Yes, thanks everyone. It's been a pleasure to do the Predator Cup on Assetto Corsa. We already gonna start working on next year, make it even better, bigger, stronger, as we always try. One of our motto is that we never give up, and I think that's very important in life. So, thanks again to everyone. I wish you a good evening or good afternoon, depending where you are around the world, and we will see you very soon.